I think a question that might be asked subconsciously is the question of overcoming a world lost in the confusion of nihilism. A young person who is in despair, who is confused by the diversity of culture. An older person who is in despair, who is overcome by the complexity of reality. The interesting thing is that these feelings that we can have in relation to existence often emanate from a loss of understanding to know or realize our potential to speak up, to speak out, to be part of something that is larger than ourselves socially. An individual who strives to practice just even a modicum of discipline, to discipline the mind, to read, to educate oneself, to conduct oneself with a noble character. To do this builds character. It builds substance. It builds depth of character, of being, of self. From this self of substance, there emerges hope. There emerges power. There emerges authority. There emerges a voice. There emerges a personality. There emerges a presence. This presence can have an impact and effect on other people's lives. It can make an impact and difference in the world. It doesn't have to be an absolute difference. It doesn't have to be an absolute act of mediation that transforms the world completely. Small acts, small qualitative acts will do just fine. What should a person do? They're confused. What should a person think about? What should a person read? What should a person concentrate on? What should a person focus on? It's easy to get confused. It's easy to get discouraged, especially in a society with divergent cultures, especially in a society that has an archaic system, an economic system that is predatory on the lives of individuals. We can speak out. We do have a voice. We can speak out by more than just speaking out. We can write. We can create art. There are many things that we can do. Humanism offers a path of beauty for confused and despairing individuals to walk. Because it offers hope, it offers order, it offers a higher meaning than the individual self. The ideals of humanism are ideals to strive for, are ideals worth striving for, are ideals that lead to an expansion in the quality of human life through the expansion of the quality of social life. I realized that humanism was an extraordinary thing when I understood that it was not just an isolated contemporary philosophy, but when I realized that it's really a collective consciousness that emerged within the species, that the species became capable of, that humans became capable of. They became capable of practicing and proclaiming and declaring humanism in their consciousness. Extraordinary. Because the values of humanism are values that encompass a unified society. They're values that encompass an expansion in moral structures within the context of society. Humanism expands what is moral in religion and makes it better. Humanism is an idealism that an individual really can give their lives to, that they can be a partaker of, that they can build, and it will not be building something in vain, because it's building a value for human life itself. It's defending the value of human life itself. It's defending the quality of human life itself. And while many people are confused, angry, lost in despair, not knowing where to go, what to think, looking for some type of light, looking for people to follow, the best advice that I can give to any human is to educate yourself. Educate yourself. Expand your mind. This is vital. This is crucial. This will expand your consciousness. It will expand your sense of well-being because it will expand your powers of existential navigation. Educate yourself. But don't learn to think superficially. Don't learn to just mindlessly follow individuals who offer or promise a simple solution to your suffering or to your sorrow or to your despair. The solution is building yourself. The solution is growing yourself. The solution is educating yourself. And from the center of that education, expanding yourself through knowledge, through the cultivation of intelligence. Nothing is greater or higher than intelligence. This is the thing to cultivate. This is the thing to focus on. And then to understand that when you build yourself, when you increase and expand your intelligence, that it means you have something meaningful to say. You can then contribute. You have something that matters to say. You can say something in context, something that expands context, something that is intelligent. Not merely impulsive, not merely reactionary, but something that is deliberative, contemplative, something that has meaning, something that has a higher value than one's own subjective value. We can't get to a place of authority if we do not first work on ourselves. And no one should educate themselves because they're seeking out authority or seeking out power. That is the wrong way. That is the wrong motivation. We should educate ourselves because we want to know about life. Because as Socrates says, the unexamined life is not worth living. Because we are trying to increase ourselves. We are trying to increase our quality as human beings. We have a voice. You have a voice. You have a mind. You can think. And you want to use it. You want to cultivate it. You want to develop it. Because there's nothing stopping you from speaking up but yourself. There's nothing stopping you from speaking out, from standing up for the good, from cultivating what is intelligent in yourself but yourself. Now, this is not entirely true, because it's not just that the self is preventing the self. That is what modern gurus say. But there is truth to it. There is some truth to it. But it's not totality. It's not the full picture. There are many people who would like to develop themselves, but they cannot, because the system restricts their potential and ability to do it, choking off and suffocating their time, so they cannot do it. The only way to get past this kind of a system is to build better systems. And we might not even be the recipients of the systems that we seek to build. But nevertheless, if we care about society, if we care about the species, if we care about individuals living better lives than the lives that we have perhaps been cast into, then we should care about cultivating and developing the future. We should care about cultivating and developing a better world, a freer world, a better system, a system that does not suffocate and distract the life out of individuals who are caught up in it. We should care about building a better system. But even now, in the place that we exist, do we understand that we are floating on a sphere in the middle of space, in the blackness and the void of space? Do we understand that we have the ability and capacity to speak out? That we have the ability and capacity to educate ourselves? And that this education can lead to great things within us, to a great expanse within us, to a great power within us that can then lead outward and touch other lives? But one should not do this because they want power. That is not why one should do it. One should do it because they want to be better. And through that betterness, they want to help other people. Through that betterness, they want to reduce the suffering of their fellow man. I've seen a lot of people who have tried to pursue fields of knowledge because they want to be praised by other humans. The vast majority of intellectuals that I have seen, they pursue education because they want to occupy a place or position of authority. They want to be praised. They want to be worshipped. They want to be celebrated by other humans. But this is unacceptable. This is the wrong motive. Seek out first what is true. Seek out first what is true. Seek out first to understand your own context, the world in which you exist. Seek out first to get a control over your own existence, your own thoughts, your own mind. Seek out first to use your intelligence to emancipate you from your own tyranny, from your own authoritarianism. Seek to cultivate your intelligence so you can be free from the subconscious tyranny which resides inside of yourself. Seek out that first. Don't seek out knowledge or wisdom to be great or to be praised. Seek it out to be free within yourself. And then if you find that, seek to give that freedom to others. You do have a life. And from that life, you can create a voice. You can create a form. You can create all kinds of things. You can be a celebrator of life, a celebrator of excellence, a celebrator of intelligence, and you can try to expand and spread that intelligence into the world. Not to get people to praise us, to look up to us, but so that they can think on the same level that we can think, so they can be free on the same level that we are free. These are the things that should matter. This is the motivation that should drive us. Not to prey on people, but to share liberation with people. To be free. Educate yourself to be free, to find freedom, and then share that freedom with others. This is the most beautiful thing. I see lots of people who are confused and who are in despair. And that's why I speak now. I want to try to make it clear that there is a way to cultivate and bring higher purpose and meaning to an individual life. And that path is really through the domain of education. Education is the most important thing because it cultivates intelligence. And without intelligence, there can be no freedom. Intelligence is the ground and axiom of freedom. And thought is a form of intelligence. Thought is the active form that creates intelligence. Seek to be a thinker so that you can understand what it means to be free. There is despair, but education is a great path to walk. And as the mind unfolds and expands itself and learns and transcends its sorrow and its suffering and focuses in on ideals that are greater than the solitary life, that is humanism. Hope emerges. Light breaks through the dark sky. The dawn comes riding over the hills from the black midnight. This is what happens when we expand ourselves through education and we find great ideals, ideals that have been developed for thousands of years. We find noble ideals that raise the species above its impulse, above its pettiness, above its stupidity, above its cruelty and barbarity. This is humanism. Humanism truly does offer a hope and a light. It is full of beautiful ideals, enlightened ideals, rational ideals, intelligent ideals. One can focus their life on the cultivation, the expansion of these ideals. And in so doing, when one finds higher social ideals, one will also find a deeper meaning in life. One will find that their despair washes away. One will find that their sorrow flees from them. Because one has found principles that occupy the place of transcendence. Don't give up power that you have. Cultivate it. Learn to cultivate it. Don't give up power that you have. Like you, I was a confused young man, deeply troubled and burdened, full of sorrow, roaming the streets. For years upon years, that was my life. But education, the expansion of intelligence, brought context and order to my life. It can bring context and order to your life as well. Don't throw away your power by thinking you don't have any. Don't throw away your voice by thinking you don't have one. You have a voice. The challenge, the problem, the goal is to develop it. That is the task. Develop it. Educate yourself. Conduct yourself with high character and integrity toward your fellow man. That builds strength. It builds beauty of person. And it increases one's power and one's authority toward their fellow man. Don't throw away your power. Don't throw away your voice by don't thinking you have one. Learn to cultivate it. Learn to cultivate it. Learn to be excited about learning. Learn to be excited about finding out what your voice is, what your thought is. Above all, have courage and don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, that's okay. Be honest, be open. We're all afraid at times. Be honest about it. And proceed forward, seeking an expansion of the self in the hope that you can find freedom, that we can all find freedom, and that we can share it together in a greater society.